Hello again. Different hairstyle this time, I think. It's actually been 2 weeks since I've done any work on the unit. A couple of reasons being, I think the last video I did, I think I mentioned that I was going to be, I can't remember the last video I did, but I think I'd finished sanding the top of the work unit. And that I was going to apply a layer of varnish on it, or a layer of stain, which reminds me, actually I need to have a look at the tin of stain that I'm using, because I never bought it. It was one that I was given to use for the first shelves that I did. You see me having my brain working then to try and remember what I'd done. So I've not actually looked at the tin to see what it is. So I'm going to do that now, actually. Fuck it, might as well do it while I'm on. So I'm using this, which is what is given to me, and I can't read it off the screen because it's backwards. Interior varnish, a quick drying finish with diamond hard protection, with a deep mahogany colour. Now, for one of the things, because obviously I'm trying to learn what I'm doing here. One of the things that I've been learning is obviously that there is stain and there is varnish, but there is also stains that are varnishes as well, or should I say varnishes that stain as well. So I'm not sure which one this is, so I need to, let's see, where can I use it? All interior hardwood and softwood that's new or already stained. Perfect for coffee tables, doors, windows and skirting. Do not use on wooden floors. So yeah, I will have a proper read of this tin of varnish, because one of the things that I've been finding when I've been doing a bit of research is when people are applying their varnishes, they're getting a real nice shine, like a proper varnish style shine, and I don't get that. So I'm wondering whether it's because this particular tin is a stain and a varnish. So I'm kind of contemplating whether I should take off the layer of varnish I've put on the top, or whether I should just keep going at this point, and then for my next project look at clear varnish, because you can get clear varnish, and my next project I think that would be better, but I'll get onto that in a moment. Okay, so if I remember rightly, on the last video I was about to put a layer of varnish on the top of the work unit, so that is what I'm going to show you now as to how it came out. Okay, well, hopefully at this point I'll just remind myself to insert a picture of what the top looked like before, so we can get a comparison, because now I can show what the top looks like after one layer of varnish on it. And you might not be able to get a very good view of it. The lighting in here isn't particularly great, but it doesn't look too bad. Okay, it's got a bit of a shine on it showing from the camera, but what I would say is I think I applied the first coat a little bit too, not thick, I just think I put too much down at once, and found it difficult to spray. You can see a little bit of difference in colour in here, but to be fair, there was always going to be difference in colouring given how old this wood is and the treatment it's had before. Now, I'm in two minds whether to take this complete layer off and start again, but to be honest, this wood is mahogany and the interior varnish is a mahogany varnish. It's got a mahogany colour to it, so I'm actually thinking I'm going to stick with it. Now, I may give this another sanding down before applying the next coat. Not a heavy sanding, just a light sanding. What I will say is that, if I can show it, I have done the front edge of the top, but I haven't touched the underneath or any of the front. And to be honest, given that it's only had one coat, looking at the edge, the colour is not that different. I think with another 2 or 3 coats on, the colour will, I think it'll look really nice, to be honest. It'll come up quite dark, and I do want it to be a darker wood, not a light colour. So yeah, looking good. If I haven't mentioned it already, I did have a go at sanding down the outline of the handle that was on the front of the drawers, and realised, yeah, okay, I can keep sanding and get the outline off. So I have done that on the first three. Also, I think on this one, I have done the sides, and I did a little bit of the edgings, sanded it off. But to be honest, my back went 2 weeks ago when I was doing this. I'd got the tops off. Sorry, not the tops off. I'd got where the brackets had gone. Removed that so you couldn't see it. And at that point, I was like, right, okay, I've done well. I've had a good day. I'll stop there. And then I decided, no, you know what? I'll just do a little bit more. And that's when my back went. So I've been out of action a bit. And also I've been busy the last couple of weeks. And last time I was here, just before I was going to record a how I've got on today, I had my auntie's husband, or is it uncle-in-law, Trev, he popped over. So I didn't want to do the video while he was there, because this is a personal video for me, which I'll make sure. So that's why I'm doing the video today. Now today, actually, while I mentioned, oh no, I've cleaned it. I wanted to mention, when I was sanding the tops of this door was so covered in dust that it was literally the same colour as those stairs. That's how much dust came off the top of these, and that is how much dust I must have inhaled and got in my eyes the first day I was doing stuff. I did use the safety goggles last week, but I found a problem. It's quite cold in here. So whenever I had the goggles on and the mask on, the air was coming out at the top of the mask and steaming up my goggles. So I basically had to hold the mask away from my nose and mouth a little bit. Okay, today, my aim for today is, once again, I've had a change of plan, because I'd mentioned previously about the faces of this changing colour, getting a bit darker, and it turns out that the reason for that is because it was still there was still a bit of varnish on the fronts. Excuse me. So by sanding down to a much deeper layer to remove the fascia, I'll show it on this one. Yeah, so on this one, where you can just about make out where the bracket went. Obviously, I've sanded these ones down so that doesn't show. And these haven't altered colour. This one has a little bit, which would suggest to me just needs sanding down a little bit more. Now, because these haven't altered colour, what I've decided I think I'm going to do is, rather than sand these three, varnish these three, and then sand the next three, I'm going to sand through the lot of it. At least that way, my thinking is, if I get all the big sanding done and out the way, including the base of that, then I can have a much cleaner area for doing the sanding, applying the varnish. Because one of the things I realised with this door, for example, is any sanding that I do is creating a massive amount of mess and dirt and dust and sawdust, and that's not what I need. Okay, so today's plan is to finish getting these sanded off. Once I've sanded these three off, I'm actually thinking about tackling that, but I'm in two minds. I haven't decided whether I'm going to tackle that. It depends on how my back goes, because if I can get these sanded off quite nicely, I might move on to the next three so that all the drawers are done, and then that would just leave me with sanding the base of that. Just want to show you a tool I've fashioned. Stick, sanding paper, stapled on. Reason for this, getting in here, which you might not be able to see too well, but obviously it's the drawer area, is not going to be easy. So stick, sanding paper allows me to sand all the way to the back with ease. And because it's stapled in, I can just pull the staples out to change the paper. Okay, so that's the plan for today then, is to initially try and get these drawers finished off. Now there is one more thing that I want to show you. and that is this round table. Now I managed to pick this up off a lovely young lady for free. Actually, she was getting rid of it on Facebook for free. I woke up one morning, had to go on Facebook, saw it, I was like, I'll have that, because it needs a little bit of refurbished work, and it's actually a really nice table. It really is a nice table. Comes with a pedestal base. Now I mentioned about some of the sandpaper or the sanding sponges that I got, which weren't very good on this curvature, but should be very good on this curvature. So this is going to be my next project. Now this one, obviously this is something I've brought in. It's not, I mean, it's not like we've had it in the family since before I was born. So I've got a couple of options with this. I'm hoping that when I get the desk unit done, I'll be able to do this table and it will look absolutely lovely. And that is a table that I want a clear coat varnish on, because I think that it will look so much better on that. And then the plan with it is going to be one of a couple of things really. First of all, I'm going to offer it to my parents if they want it. There isn't really anywhere in their house that they could have it, but in my dad's workshop, he may have a use for it. If he does not want it, then I may try and sell it. I don't know how much it'd be worth. I can't imagine it's going to be worth a lot. But if it looks good and I cover me costs of varnishes and stuff and a bit of time, I'd be happy, I reckon, because it is a nice table. It just needs a little bit of TLC. Okay, right, let's crack on. Right, okay, it's the end of the day. I've done everything I can. Today it's getting really cold in here now. Can't quite see my breath yet. But it's been a tough day because I've been hurting a lot, to be honest. But I was determined to get something done for certain. Now, on the last video clip, I said I've changed my mind. I'm going to sand everything first. I've changed my mind again, and I didn't do that. Mainly because I did feel like I don't feel like I've accomplished anything. I'm doing a lot of sanding, I'm not accomplishing anything. So what I've ended up doing is I finished sanding off 3 of the drawers, and I decided, right, let's clean them and let's stick a layer of varnish on it and see how they look. So let's have a look. And it looks like that. Okay, no, actually, this is a different one. This is one that I never actually sanded. This is one that my brother had sanded, but I wanted to show. So that is basically what they look like before, and with 1 coat of varnish on, this is what they look like now. They do have sort of a hint of red in them, sort of along there. It does look quite dark, but I don't mind that at the moment. It'll be interesting to see what they look like when they're finished and they've had a few more coats. But I'm fairly happy with it, to be honest. A bit dark there, so have a look. Yeah, I'm fairly happy with how it looks. I mean, it's definitely looks a hell of a lot better. So yeah, I've managed to put a coat on 3 of them, which I'm very pleased about. Now I do feel like I'm accomplishing something. What that means is, for the next instalment that I've got to do is going to be this drawer and these 2 drawers, and it'll be a case of get them sanded down to the point I can put a layer on. So maybe we'll rejoin this when I've put all the layers on all of the drawers, and then I've laid this down so no one puts anything on the top, and then it'll be attack that beast. But I'm looking forward to doing that. It's not going to be easy doing all the inner bits, but I'm looking forward to how that will look afterwards. Anyway, that's it. See you later.